Good morning. Welcome to Saturday Morning Vocal Technique Live, and this is number 165. Are you ready? Now, let's begin right at the beginning where we always do, which is, what's your focus today? How has your week been? All right, so I'm inviting you now as you're starting to get your kind of mental stuff together, that you begin preparing for this vocal technique session, okay? Whatever that might mean to you, whether it's a physical thing, get into your space, get really, don't get distracted. It's very easy as we get into the swing of our exercises that you can be distracted by thoughts about the day, about the weather, about how you're feeling. But whilst you're going through the vocal warm-up, the vocal technique session, try and stay really focused. Okay, all right, so what you should be doing by now is really kind of getting in the zone, your particular zone. Okay, I might have to turn this very slightly because of my position at the piano. And take yourself through all the preliminaries, all right? This is whatever you feel gets you a little bit more concentrated, whether it's the breathing exercise, whether it's stretching, getting a feel of the physicality, you know, whether it's, did I say panting already? But that kind of thing. But again, Grace, be careful with what triggers a cough. Okay. And then when you're done, when you're ready, just send me a thumbs up or done, and we'll get straight into those lip trills. All right, so watch those shoulders as well, folks. Any tension in your shoulders, just try and let it go, okay? Imagine that you've got, I don't know, you're holding a can of beans or something in each hand, something that would just pull the weight down. Right, so as you are waking up your body, what you should be feeling with any breathing exercise is some response in the lower abdomen, specifically the expansion of the ribs. And then as you expel the air, what you don't want is this feeling of dropping away. Okay, you want to maintain that. Keep it on the body, the connection, the feeling of resistance, the appoggio, all that stuff. That's what you're aiming for. Now, here is the thought about pitching, and a little observation that I made from watching Grace's technique video was that one's sense of pitching might not be what you think it is. So just be very careful as you do these lip trills that you really get the fifth. Okay, right, so we're just going to go up and down the fifth, but you are majorly thinking about the onset of that sound. And to check yourself, if you have a false start, give yourself the time to get back on properly. Don't rush. Are you ready? So think about your pitching and the way in which you're allowing your vibration to start. Just keep an eye on the cat. Ready? Okay, so think about your posture. Got it all sorted. Here we go. Ready? And... next one. Pay attention to the reset. Just a couple more. Last one, folks. Okay, plenty of vibrations in my nose. Onset felt good. I felt that I wasn't having to think about my breath coming and going. I could just trust the process, the feeling of resistance, knowing that my posture is good, my ribs feel wide. Have you got a little checklist going on in there? you could get really fancy in your exercises, but actually if you haven't got the basics covered, it doesn't matter what you do. And this is where I am at with Jodie, procrastination station, you know. Okay, so lots happening in the body between the phrases, but next stage still. Yeah, I mean, Sophie, your body will just be responding, hopefully, that like in a song, to the next thing. Right, so we're going to start back here. This time, though, we're going to do faster. So you're going to be sliding up and down. This is where it really pays to have this feeling of the body really working with you. And so you should not be aware of the pitch shift. It's just like over there, with your larynx being anchored beautifully by your whole postural alignment thing. Okay, so here's the pitch. Just have a bit of a practice, especially on the old onset. And then watch, how do you reset between each one? Starting down here. So remember, everything in all your songs, everything, all the phrases that you sing in a song, what you're aiming for is balance. That means passaggio issues too. Wherever your passaggio issues sit, if you really focus on that nice, relaxed, low laryngeal position, which you attain by actually the way you set everything up, it should be fine. So here we go, ready? A whole sequence, fairly swift. And no digging in. Watch how you respond to as we go up. No pushing air, no frowning, no eyebrows. Here we go, ready, and C, that's on the B flat. Okay, so I think we must do the opposite. If we start in, okay, let's start in G major, okay? This G, when we see it on the page, often phases us out. So let's start here, and again, remember, the positioning is as if you're going to sing this G, the octave below, but in fact, you get ready, but it's just a different pitch. You just kind of do your tuning thing. And we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do our lip trills coming down, okay? Here we go. Ready? Here we go. So think, posture good. All right, and as you let the air in, you allow the air in, invite it with inspired thought. Here we go, and two more. Actually, if we did two more, let's do two more. Ready, and last one. That's the C below middle C. There's middle C, that C, and that one. Okay, so within a very short time, if your body is working with you, you will be able to sort of navigate those areas in a vocal technique warm-up. Okay, so that you know, I feel it's a bit like being an artist. I know we use these kind of comparisons, these kind of analogies, but it is like being an artist where you have more colours on your palette. You don't use them all the time, but you know they're there, and you could use them, mix them in if you had to. That's the whole point of knowing what you're doing with your voice. But I have to say, folks, that all of the success of that will rely very, very much on your understanding of your particular foibles on the reset. Your particular things that you do not do, whether you up come the shoulders, you don't employ the body, you don't feel that resistance, all that stuff, you tend to drive air, all of those things will affect how you do that stuff and therefore into your songs. What we principally do on a Saturday morning is we work the area that we might come into contact with, plus a few notes at the edge. Because like I say, what we're building is a vocal palette of sound, so that when you see your music, you are not fazed by what you see. You know that that actual pitch is in your voice. It's not an issue. And so what I'm saying to you, Steve, is that don't think yourself lacking in any way because you couldn't get down to the bottom C. You know, it is what it is. Because of course, physically we are limited actually as to how we're personally built. How long are your vocal folds? And of course, there's no exact pattern. There's no exact length. We're all different. So people who can sing high, you know, like Queen of the Night aria, they usually are. It's not just by practice. They usually are physically able to do that. You know, the vocal folds just maybe that little bit longer or more elastic or whatever. Anyway, stick to the basics, folks. All right. Okay. So now lip trills, great stuff. We could do tenths. We could do more than that. We could do a longer exercise. Last week we did the okay, and that's for stamina. Now, why don't we do that? But let's do it with some vowels, shall we? Just to see how, having done your lip trills, how does it feel when we switch to vowels? Vowel centering. Now, when you think about vowel centering, what do you think about? Vowel centering is all to do with like imagining where the sound starts, okay? And in your imagination, you're thinking the vowel, but your mouth is shaping it for you, not so much the lips, the teeth, the tongue, all right? The tongue does move, shapes happen, but in the main, the vowel centering happens here. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. We're going to do and I want you to always think of, what is my larynx doing? Does it feel comfortable? Am I driving air? Does it feel released? Just allow yourself the sort of diving in and just assessing as you go. So he says, I also think of the schwa. Yeah, exactly. This is the schwa is the neutral schwa position. I can tell you, I've been listening to David telling me this over and over the past week. Here we go, your chance to try out your vowels. What's your habits? Here we go. This would be good for videoing, by the way, at some point during the week. Here we go, and reset. Not bad. Mine was a little bit pinched, but never mind. It's just, you know, remember this is vocal technique where you are just checking out how you're responding to the demands of these exercises. The exercises in themselves are a vehicle. They will not give you on a golden platter the expertise. It's by the kind of throwing yourself in, working it out from the inside out. It's the same stuff all the time, which is why, you know, observations about your own vocal technique are so important. Okay, because we're all a little bundle of habits when we get down to the actual singing, and that's what we're trying to sort of plateau out a little bit. So we know we have a really good spread of different colours on our palette in terms of thickness of paint as well, if you like. You think about different techniques, right? So it's not just the colours, it's now what am I using? Starting in the same place now, same thing, but we're going to be doing the exercise where we hover at the top. I like this exercise because it gives you just a bit longer to work things out. So we're thinking laryngeal comfort as we take the breath in, as long as you've got the right inspiration. There's nothing that can happen apart from the larynx drops beautifully. And as you do that inspired intake of breath, there's the butterfly again, inspired intake of breath. So all that, the light behind the eyes idea kicks in, because all the muscles in your inside of the mouth, in the pharynx and all of that, they all come to life. So as we go up, you're not going to climb up in your head. You're going to think vowel centering, right? This is the collar connection idea as well. So you're aiming to have that feeling that, oh yeah, my larynx is in a great place, and it feels easy. So here we go. Ready? And if you feel really daring during the exercise, you can put some consonants in, but be careful that it doesn't upset your balance. So basically everything stays the same, but you go for enunciating your chosen consonant. Okay, here we go. I may not do consonants today because I'm quite enjoying the work I've been doing during the week this week. Okay, ready? Here we go. So just check your posture and your mindset. Here we go, ready? And your pitching. Just get that going. Think about where it's starting. Grace, this is for you. This is great because it's right around that kind of speechy area that you need for your song. Okay, get that vibration going. That's a word actually that David says a lot in my lesson. Vibrate! Basically, if you hold the sound in a song steady, you're actually holding the vibrations back, which means that we don't hear them in the air. You ready? Here we go. So consonants optional. Here we go. And how is that feeling? Unless you're a coloratura singer, you would not necessarily be required to sing repeated notes up beyond an A. Not really, unless you're doing a really showy piece. So you need to make sure that your ascent to the A is absolutely, fine. As in lessons, there does come a point where one's brain tends to want to switch off, Okay, so be aware of that. If you've had a long working week and lots of stress in your week from moving house and all that stuff, you have to be very wary of your own energy levels, so that you're not taking it out, all the force on your voice. So that's why I'm looking for exercises to inspire. Okay, I don't want to do anything new, really. Just me just look over the page. Everyone seems a bit kind of brain scrambled a little bit today. Everyone's saying I had to think. But what I want to get away from is that always doing exercises where we're doing something where it feels like you have to push to get up and over the top. So, it's a lovely exercise, but it can make you promote the feeling of having to push. I'm interested in how you're getting the vowels shaped in your imagination, and then how you're letting the vibrations carry that sound. So what I'm looking for is an exercise, the one that we do, but I can't play accompaniment to. Okay, think and focus, 100% maximum concentration for minimum effort. Remember? So now we're going to do for as long as we can. So we're just thinking about that sequence of vowels. I, U, break. For as long as we can. Breathe. If you wanted to, you could put a consonant in this exercise as well, during the week. If you wanted to sort of work through this video again, you could do that. Okay, so we're just focusing on vowels. We're thinking about concentration. We're thinking about the acoustical space, the imagined vowel shape. Okay, ready? Okay, are you ready? Ready? So, the thing is, the other thing I can observe sometimes is when one has breathing issues or breathing concerns, one can spend every available opportunity tanking up on breath, when part of the thing is learning to sing on the breath and use every bit up that you have before you take a new breath. Okay, so this exercise can push you to explore that. Here we go. Ready? E. So ah. We start on ah. Here we go. Ready? And stayed in tune. Next one. Here we go. Here we go, ready? And okay, yep, okay, not bad, stayed in tune. I suddenly thought that that would be a really good exercise to examine how you stop singing the note. You know, so once you've held it on with these little vibrations, when you actually decide, no, I think I'm going to stop, it's not a sudden chop off, but actually how do you release that? And of course you must, my palms at the camera like that means you wait, you have this moment of poise before you allow the new breath in to get everything in place. It's a great exercise. And when David plays it, he plays the most amazing chordal sequence underneath it, which I am not equipped to do. The ultimate aim, of course, is to do it very slightly faster, but with no breath in the middle. Okay, that's the ultimate goal with this exercise. Slightly faster, but to sing it in one breath. And this is something that people don't understand, is that if you do that and you do run out of air, that's absolutely fine, but it's the way in which you handle the running out of air. So no gripping, you just allow it to happen with nothing in there at all, and then when you spring back, the right things happen. Okay, the worst thing we can do as singers is actually, yeah, lots of breath, Steve, lots of oxygen going, so just take it steady. The ultimate is to just understand how you're doing that, what it actually means, so that in songs, and lots of the songs we sing are slow, you know, it all plays its part. See what I mean? So, Steve, that's a very, very good point about feeling slightly lightheaded. You have to be careful. Anything that involves major concentration with breath, you need to be careful just in case you do feel lightheaded. I once had a student, a young girl, who came for a lesson early in the morning. We were doing these breathing exercises, and she was extremely conscientious, this young girl, and we did these breathing exercises, and she basically got very lightheaded, and she kind of almost fainted in the studio. And I had to get to sit with her head between her knees, and actually she hadn't had breakfast, so she'd come with nothing in her tummy. All right, so I think this has been a very useful session. Technique sessions don't always have to be frantic, just going back into those basics and really scrutinizing what you're doing. Okay, time for a cool down. Are you ready for this? So there's our F. Imagine you're going to do it here though. See how relaxed that feels, and psychologically we think, oh gosh. Okay, so just the same effort. Here we go. Ready, and base with all those basic things as we do this. Watch body habits don't shut down. last one. Yeah, great stuff. Okay, how was that for you all? We're going to stop there, obviously. I hope that what this morning's session has given you is a little bit more of a kind of concentration of the things that I see happening, things I think you need. And as I say, you can always take exercises that we do on a Saturday morning and kind of craft them with use consonants, specific consonants to your needs. So how do you feel right now? I feel a little bit kind of mentally challenged. I could just do with a break. But I actually feel in my body, I feel really good. And I think that's one of the best things about the VV Saturday morning thing, is that it constantly keeps my muscles working and my mind kind of really hooked into the process, so that as I revisit it through the week, it's not alien to me. Okay, it's that little and often baby steps, you know, neuroplasticity thing going on. Okay. All right. Have a lovely few moments, camaraderie singers, and Grace, have a lovely weekend. See you all again in a minute. Bye for now.